Think of how much black people could get done if they had the government assistance and weren't waiting for 15 to 20 years to get housing. So they're not sleeping inside their uncle's pantry, or sleeping on a couch at their aunt's house, just annoying people. All that weighs on people. Being inside somebody's place and knowing that they're a burden on somebody else, and the person that lives that's letting them stay in, resenting that person for having to be there. Just all kinds of things. I've been through it, so I totally understand the opportunity that this is for black people. Yvette Carmichael just brushed that by. Yeah, he did. We commend him, but forget about that. He hates his skin. There's mold in an apartment in Boston. What? Mold? You should be talking to your city council about that. You should be talking about the mayor of the city about that, the senator of the state, the congresswoman. What the hell are you talking? What the hell are you so angry about that to Ben Carson for? That, like, he can definitely help with the situation, but he shouldn't be the focus of your anger when you're talking about rotten landlords inside a certain state. That's ridiculous. It was an absolute straw man argument, and I think that she was doing it because she's afraid of her audience. They give her hundreds and fifties inside that super chat. So I think she's afraid of being too lenient on the Trump administration, when I think that she holistically is in agreement with a lot of the stuff and a lot of the policies that they're carrying out. And yeah, this is all the stuff that I didn't get to say. You know what I'm saying? And again, the people inside the chat, I don't want to be disrespectful to all of them, because I know some of them are independent thinkers, and I saw a lot of that. They deleted me from the chat early on inside the conversation, because it's like a cult, and they got mad at Ebony Joy for calling it something of a cult, because you can't say anything against what the leader's saying, or you're a coon, you're Uncle Tom, you're a sellout, you hate your skin. There was one listen, no joke, one of the callers said, Dr. Ben hates himself. He's anti-black. What kind of black person becomes a brain surgeon? Yvette was, He made a nice life for himself. He got the whitest wife he could find. Yvette Carmichael is lighter than Ben Carson's wife, but she was still over there. You could tell that she knew he didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but she was still, that's deep. Oh my goodness, he was hitting some points, y'all. I'm sitting here like, you've got to be kidding me. That was the most retarded phone call that she's ever gotten inside all of the time that I've been watching her, as far as I've heard. But and it takes me back again to, don't confuse a researcher with an intelligent person. Because if she was dazzled by a man calling somebody anti-black because he became a brain surgeon, he basically was saying, if you do anything except play basketball or something like that, if you become a doctor or a lawyer or anything respectable inside a normal field of work, you hate yourself. You hate your skin, and you're anti-black. So if you move out of the ghetto and move into a suburb, you're anti-black. And if you decide to become a part of a profession, you're anti-black. Got some beach beer here I'm drinking while I'm talking to you guys. But it was the most ridiculous thing. And so that brings me back to the conversation about her audience. They're just there for the church sermon. Breaking Brown shows from Yvette Carmichael are church sermons. She screams and yells, and the crowd go, yes, girl, get him, sister. If you do that, here's $100. And put some money inside the cap that they pass around. Here's $100. Here's $50. And they're going to give us our money. I don't care how they give it to us. They just going to give it to us. And we can't have this person representing us, there's gotta be some people that's smart, like me and Tone Talks. And I'm sitting here like, you idiots going to Washington, they're gonna look at you like zoo animals, and they're gonna pat you on the heads on your way out and never speak to you again. An ally like Ben Carson, a black person, a real ADOS in Washington, cuts illegals off of public housing, which directly benefits us. This is something Yvette Carnell talks about all the time. Trump's gutting a budget for housing, gutting a budget for government assistance. If he's doing something to counter that, which is cut illegals off and make more room for us, how is that a bad thing? Why aren't you focusing on the good that he did instead of they basically had a roasting session on Ben Carson off of a premonition. It didn't happen yet. No black person was affected in a negative way by by the budget cuts to housing. Now, if all of the illegals are taken off of HUD, and then they just start taking black people off all across the country, then we'll have a conversation. But today, or yesterday, you had a whole 2-hour, 3-hour, however long it went, roasting session, degrading a man of high caliber off of a premonition. And you join the Democrats inside the clown show of trying to make a brain surgeon look like a buffoon because he didn't necessarily remember what an REIO. And let me tell you something, folks. That's crazy. That's crazy. You're trying to make a brain surgeon look like a buffoon. That's crazy. A black brain surgeon. You were trying to make him look like a buffoon because he couldn't remember what an REIO was. And he was probably trolling a lady. You can see that he was trolling her after she just kept disrespecting him. He was basically going through what I went through on a Breaking Brown podcast. The congresswoman asked him a question, and when he tried to answer it, she said, "Say yes or no. Say yes or no." And of course, this has happened a million times in Congress between whites, blacks, and everybody. So they tried to make him look like a buffoon because she kept, sorry, I'm confusing my conversations. So they tried to say she didn't disrespect him when she was clearly being disrespectful to him to the point where he started just trolling him. And like I said, that's normal in Congress because congressmen and congresswomen tend to cut people off and ask people for yes and no answers. And the people that come there for the hearings don't want to answer questions in that manner because they can be taken in any context. So he was clearly being disrespected, and what the Breaking Brown people did was jump on a Democratic bandwagon of trying to make a brain surgeon out to be a buffoon because he didn't remember what an RIO was. And the fact is that everybody that comes to Congress comes with a team of people behind them that has information that they don't have inside their head, that they haven't memorized. So they usually just turn around and say, and then they say, yes, or no. They turn around to their counsel. Yes, yes, of course. And that's how it goes. But at that point, he was trolling already. You know what I'm saying? So it makes me so upset that she's come so far low just to entertain her crowd. And I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm an ADOS. I'm not going to stop watching her show or anything of that nature. I still think it's entertaining. I come for the church sermon too. But whenever I see something like that, I probably won't call back because she probably won't have me again. But if I do choose to call back and challenge her on something else, because I do like challenging stupidity wherever I find it. That's why I call Star's show, because he's got people on there that I like to challenge and debate. But the difference between her and Star is that's an open forum for conversation, and you don't get cut off and hung up on. Well, he does do stuff like that, but it's not inside the same fashion. It's like, all right, fuck boy, time to go. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, I don't like your view, you gotta go, unless it's about Tasha K. Yeah, it was a mess, and they called me the child of a baby boomer who was well off, and that's why I'm a sous chef with a good job. I grew up inside a house with roaches and rats the size of a massive splinter. I was poor for the majority of my life, and I'm still, at the bottom of, lower tier of, middle class. Uh, my mother never had, no great money. She's not no successful baby boomer that went to, college or anything of that nature. We were on public assistance my whole life. I never had anything. I created the opportunity similar to the way that Dr. Ben Carson did. Similar to the way that most conservative men do. They create their own opportunities. But I'm not one of those conservative men that look down on you because you still don't have anything. I'm the type that understands because I came from that. Dr. Ben came from that. He just encourages you to strive for more. That doesn't mean all of us can do it. Because we all, black people of mental thinking or, knowledge, understand that there are barriers in place that, can stop a black person from getting anywhere. So I don't take that away from the cause. But the point is, I'm not some silver spoon kid. I worked a very long time to get where I was. I've been at my job for 15 years. I started as a line server, slapping food on a plate like the lunch mothers. So that was very insulting. And of course, I didn't have a platform to talk back. They just got to drag me through the mud and everybody hooted and hollered, yeah, get him, this is Sparta. So another reason why that platform is a joke. They think because they got a few politicians to talk about reparations for a week that they got somewhere. They got nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Nobody gives a crap about reparations in Washington. And that's not going to be one of the main things that are the concern of black people in the 2020 elections. If you're going to look at what the black voting bloc is going to be like, you got to look at Candace Owens. Because the black voting bloc that you're looking at is already voting for the Democratic nomination. They don't give a crap about who's saying what, who's got the best plan for us. The people that you think is going to hold their vote, they're just going to go against Donald Trump. It doesn't matter what the other person says. And that's how it usually goes. Donald Trump actually acts for the black vote. He actually made promises to us and followed through with a lot of them already. Democrats don't even give a shit enough to speak to black. Hillary, I don't think she mentioned black people one time until, maybe the 100th time that Donald Trump begged black people to reach out. So, and before that, Barack and, Clinton, none of these people ever even mentioned black people because they just understood black people would be voting for the Democrat because Republicans are just inherently racist. Another thing they said was he took the job because he needed the money. He didn't need the money. He was a freaking brain surgeon. Again, these people are crazy. Why would he leave the comfortable... It's just like Donald Trump. Why would either one of these people leave the comfortable life that they led to come be dragged through the mud by their own people, their own countrymen, for trying to help them? That doesn't make sense. Why would Dr. Ben Carson leave his lavish life of being a black brain surgeon and being able to look down at all of us and say, hey, I did it first. You know what I'm saying? And be held up by, black conservatives, across the country and things of that nature. Why would he leave that to go and, get paid less than he probably gets paid to be a brain surgeon and be ridiculed by people? No, he took the job because the president tapped him on the shoulder and asked him to do it, asked him to serve his country, just like the president does for everybody else. But I guess when it's a black nigga, he got to take it because he just needed the money. It does. These people, that's one of the things I think Tone Talk said, totally illogical. But you don't have to be logical when there's groupthink and there's a hive mind. All you have to do is talk and everybody has to say, yes, you're right. Or you're an idiot, you're a coon, and then the crowd goes wild. As soon as somebody says you're a coon, oh yeah, that's right, he's a coon. One thing is, I do believe ADOS is important. So, that's besides the fact. I don't like I said, it's not gonna deter me from watching Yvette Carmichael. Like I said, I like listening to the fuck shit, and what we better do. And sometimes the research that she puts up is informative, and I can apply it and have more intelligent conversations about the things that she puts forward. So I'm probably not going to stop watching her totally. Obviously, when we're having conversations that are partisan like this, I'm gonna take issue with it. Another thing is Dr. Ben Carson is part of the Trump administration, and he has to carry out the policy of the administration to some extent. And it just so happens that the policy of the administration is directly as a direct advantage to the black community. And we've already talked about why it is. I don't want to go back over that again because, it's a conversation that she's not going to have. Listen, if this video catches fire, if these videos that I'm making right now catch fire, Yvette Carmichael is not going to do a show on these videos because the points that I'm putting forth, she can't rebut them. She can't rebut anything that I'm saying because I'm not saying anything wrong. She can't get any data to prove that I'm wrong about anything that I'm saying because these are just factual things. If there's less illegal immigration, for one, it won't drive rent prices up so high. That's one thing, because if there's less people and there's not a certain demand, a definite demand, then landlords will have to be competitive again. Right now, I'm living inside a basement apartment. It's an apartment that they renovated, but it was a basement. So they can charge me $18.50 a month to live here because I need a place to stay. Now, if every building on the street had a vacant apartment on it, guess what? The landlord here would have to be a little bit more competitive. That's one thing. But the second thing is just being able to be a part of the government assistance program for people who need to be a part of that government assistance program the most is going to be a direct good thing and a direct advantage for poor black people all across the country. And for some reason, I'm racist for pointing that out. An illegal immigrant, pointing out illegal immigration is a direct disadvantage to black people is now racist to black people. It's the stupidest shit I ever heard. But that's what you get when you're dealing with very basic-minded people that have attained status of intellect for some reason. So now we're dealing with somebody who's very powerful as far as a following that is intellectually incompetent and afraid to speak about the real issues that we're having. So shout out to Ebony Joy and the people inside her comments that didn't conform to the cult and spoke their minds and let it be known inside her chat, because I'm sure she saw it. I'm glad that there was some pushback from several people and that she understands that what she did was wrong. Whether she admits to it or not, she understands that she had a significant amount of supporters who didn't support what she did to me. And I don't plan on having an internet feud with her or Tone Talks. The reason I'm making this video is because I wasn't able to rebut or defend myself when they dragged me for 3 phone calls straight and called me racist and said that I hated myself and that I was the child of a baby boomer who had a successful silver spoon life. So ridiculous. So I'm going to leave it there, folks. I probably didn't even hit everything that I wanted to hit, but send her the videos. Let her see them. I'm 100% sure she's not going to go over these on her channel because I'm speaking absolute reality, and I'm not racist, folks. I got the blood of the slave in me. I lived at the bottom of the United States for half of my life at least until I pulled myself out, and I'm still living at the bottom of the United States. I've just made more comfortable living for myself. So, and also I have a multicultural workplace with people that I enjoy very much. So, all the racism stuff, don't let them change the conversation because they don't want to deal with the conversation. And I'll talk to you guys later. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you later. Peace.